Hello everyone, welcome to Clavimed classes. I am Truptimoy Mohanty, your geology educator. So let's start with today's topic. Today's topic is composition of blood. We have studied about the plasma composition like water and proteins. So other than water and proteins, there are some other factors like some minerals, sodium, calcium, bicarbonate, fluoride, etc. and glucose as a sugar, and some lipids are also present. So if we will talk about the blood sugar, the main form of blood sugar is glucose. Glucose is the simplest sugar. So what is the range of glucose? I mean, what is the amount of glucose that is present in a blood? If we will talk about the normal range or normal range, that is the glucose present in the blood is around 80 to 120 milligram per 100 ml of blood. If there is 80 to 120 milligram of glucose is present in 100 ml of blood, then it is totally normal. So if the range varies from the normal range, then it is diseased condition. If the normal range varies, then it is a diseased condition. So if the level increases, it is called hyperglycemic condition or hyperglycemia. Hyper means oversecretion. Hyperglycemia in diabetic states or diabetic condition, this hyperglycemic situation is seen. Those patients are high in blood sugar. So if the level decreases from the normal range, then this condition is called as hypoglycemia. Hypo means low secretion. Hypoglycemia. In case of hypoglycemia, we all know what actually glucose does. It provides us energy in the form of ATP. We get energy from sugars in the form of ATP. And this ATP is used in our day-to-day work and cellular functions. So if hypoglycemic condition occurs, if there is low sugar, low glucose, then low ATP will be produced subsequently. Then what will happen? We will have low energy to do our work. Our cells will not function properly due to less energy. So this is hypoglycemic condition if the level decreases from the normal condition. Then comes to the lipid or fat. So the main form of fat present in blood is actually cholesterol. Cholesterol is the form of fat. So what is its range? Its range is around 150 to 230 milligram per 100 ml of blood. It is its normal range. If this normal range increases, if the cholesterol range is increased, then this condition is called as hypertension. There should be number of diseases if this number will increase. These diseases like hypertension and arteriosclerosis and some coronary heart disease. There are some disease when this cholesterol level is increased. Now comes to the point, what is the function of plasma actually? We have studied about its composition. It is composed of water, proteins and fat, sugar. Then what is its function? Its function is transport. It is mainly associated with transportation. Then whose transport is it do actually? It actually does the transport of gases, hormones, nutrients, heat or temperature and waste materials. So the main function of plasma is actually transportation as it circulates throughout the body. That is why it transports any kind of chemicals like some hormones, nutrients or waste materials. It can transport from to the whole body. So gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, we know the gaseous exchange in lungs. This is happen only due to blood. And if we will talk it specifically, then it is due to the plasma of the blood. So its main function is transportation of gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide and nutrients, hormones, heat and waste. Sorry, it is regulation. So the next function is it regulates the pH of the body. What is the pH of blood? That is 7.3 to 7.4, which is slightly alkaline. and the blood is all around the body. That is why the pH of our whole body or whole cell, we can say, is around 7.3 to 7.4. That is why it regulates the whole pH of the body. And temperature, how it regulates the temperature? Because it transports the heat. When there is more heat if in this portion of the body there is more heat, then the blood will flow here and will take out the extra heat and will normalize the heat. We call it as homeostasis. This condition is known as homeostasis. In this homeostatic condition, the temperature of our whole body is maintained, that is around 37 degrees Celsius. And it also regulates the water content of the cell. Through the albumin, I have said it earlier. And what is its another function? It gives protection against some diseases, that it forms antibodies. I have already told that the globulin protein forms antibodies. Antibodies are the defense cells. They are formed against the antigens, that are foreign particles. And there are some cells that are phagocytic in nature, and they engulf the cells, engulf the bacteria or virus, like some foreign particles. They engulf them and kill them. In this method, they protect us against the disease, and also it protects us against the blood loss through the process of blood clotting. We have already studied it in our 10th class, blood clotting. Blood clotting is a process that is to prevent the blood loss. So mainly the blood clotting is due to the clotting factor present in the plasma, that is fibrinogen and prothrombin. These are the clotting factors present in plasma and helps in blood clotting whenever there is blood loss or there is any wound. So it is all about the functions of the plasma. It mainly helps in transportation, it regulates the pH and temperature and water content of the cell, and it gives protection against blood loss in the form of blood clotting, and protects against disease in some phagocytic activities and by forming antibodies. I hope this plasma section is clear. We have studied this plasma, its constituents. Next come to the corpuscles, that are around 45% of the total blood. So what are the different cells? We can call them as formed elements. So there are around 3 types of formed elements. First one is red blood cell, next is white blood cells and platelets. Now we will study about the RBC. Here we can see there are 3 kinds of blood corpuscles. RBC, we call them as erythrocytes, WBC, otherwise called as leukocytes, and platelets, otherwise called as thrombocytes. These are their other names. Erythrocytes or RBC, leukocytes or WBC, and thrombocytes or platelets. These are the 3 kinds of blood corpuscles present in our blood. They are around 45% of the total blood. So next come to the point RBC. These are the most abundant cells of our blood, most abundant. They are present more in number than other the corpuscles. And RBC is mainly biconcave in shape. See the structure? They are biconcave in structure. And see the there is a depression. Let me change the color. There is a depression in its center. Why this depression is actually? This is actually because of the nucleus. These RBCs are mainly enucleated. enucleated. It means nucleus is absent. RBCs are mainly enucleated. That is why there is a depression in its center. Not only the nucleus is absent, also the Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, centrioles, etc. all are absent in the inside RBC. Why they are absent? Because there is a complex protein present in the blood in RBC, that is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is present in RBC that donates to the red color. This red color to the RBC is only because of hemoglobin. That is a complex protein. This is why these RBCs are red in color, just because of hemoglobin. And the function of hemoglobin is it transports oxygen and carbon dioxide. Mainly it is associated with transportation of gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen. So this RBC is completely evacuated just because to fill it with the hemoglobin, to transport the gases, to efficient its functions, that is transportation of gases. This cell is totally evacuated from this nucleus, Golgi, mitochondria, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulums, all its organelles. It is now absent in the matured RBC. That is why the RBC is biconcave in shape and it is enucleated. And the location of formation of RBC. RBC is mainly formed in red bone marrow of a human. So in the fetal life, in the fetal period, the RBC is formed in liver. Inside the liver, the RBC is formed in the fetal period, but after birth, the RBC is formed in red bone marrow. So what are the facts about RBC? Here nucleus is absent, all other cell organelles are absent. Why they are absent? Because there is another factor present, a protein complex, that is hemoglobin, which is there to carry the oxygen. So to increase the efficiency of hemoglobin, the whole organelles of the RBC are evacuated. So now comes to the point, what are the number of RBC present in any organism? If we will talk about mammals, in case of fetus, the number of RBC is around 7 to 8 million per millimeter cube of blood. In case of fetus, but in case of infants, after birth, the number is around 6 to 7 million. There is a decrease in number. From 7 to 8 million, now this is 6 to 7 million. That is why only for this reason, the babies are more susceptible to jaundice. We all know the newborn babies are more susceptible to a disease called jaundice. And this is only because of this reason, that the number of RBCs are decreased incredibly. So how this jaundice actually occurs? If the RBC is lysed, lysis of RBC occurs. So if the RBC is lysed, there is a factor like bilirubin. It is a chemical, bilirubin is secreted. Bilirubin is yellow in color. So there is a remarkable lysis of RBCs in case of this fetal period. So this huge number of bilirubins cannot be degraded by the liver at a time. That is why they deposits just beneath the skin, nails and eye, and the baby looks somewhat yellow in color, and this jaundice occurs. That is why the babies are more susceptible to jaundice, only because of the lysis of RBCs in infant stage. If we will talk about the adults, so the number of RBC in adult male is around 5 to 5.5 million per millimeter cube of blood, and in case of female it is around 4.5 to 5 millimeter cube of blood. The number is slightly different in case of male and female because of different physiological conditions in case of male and female. the number of RBCs is more in male, that is 5 to 5.5 million per mmQ of blood, and in case of female it is 4.5 to 5 million per millimeter cube of blood. So the people, they are living in high altitude, they have higher number of RBC. Why so? High altitude, you know, if we will talk about a mountain, the peak of the mountain is with higher altitude. So the people living at higher altitude, they have higher number of RBC, because in high, we all know in high altitude there is low number of oxygen. Low oxygen is present. That is why they need more hemoglobins to transport the oxygen, to transport the process more efficiently. That is why they are provided with higher number of RBCs to meet up the oxygen demand. That is why the people living in high altitude, they have higher number of RBCs. So if the number of RBCs increase abnormally, if the number increased from the normal range, then this condition will be called as polycythemia. This polycythemia condition is increased of RBC number. And if the number is decreased, then these conditions will be called as anemia. Number of RBC is decreased here, anemic condition. And the process of formation of RBC is known as erythropoiesis. Erythropoiesis is the process through which the RBCs are formed from the red bone marrow. I have told it earlier that RBCs are formed from the red bone marrow, and the process is known as erythropoiesis. And spleen is the reservoir of RBCs. The RBCs are reserved, the formed RBCs are reserved in spleen. That is why the spleen are called as blood bank. They are known as the blood bank of humans. Why? Because the RBCs are reserved in the spleen and they are used at the emergency conditions. That is why the spleen is called as the blood bank of body. And here are some facts. The largest RBC is seen in amphibians. In case of amphibians, their RBC is larger. And in case of mammals, the RBC is smallest one. The smallest RBCs are present in mammals and the largest ones are present in amphibians. And what about the lifespan? What about the longevity of a RBC? So in case of human, the lifespan of a RBC is around 120 days. It can only live for 120 days. After 120 days, the RBCs are degraded. They are aged now and they will be degraded. And in case of frog, the lifespan is 100 days only. In case of human, it is 120 days, and in case of frog, it is 100 days. And these cells, these aged RBCs are then come to the spleen, and here they are degraded or damaged. The damaged and aged RBCs are destroyed in spleen. Hence, the spleen is also called as the graveyard of RBC. What is the function of spleen then? It normally destroys the damaged or aged RBCs that have completed their lifespan, and it also reserves the formed RBCs for emergency use. That is why it is known as blood bank of the body and also graveyard of RBC. It destroys the damaged RBCs. So if we will count about the RBCs, we need an instrument, that is hemocytometer. Through the hemocytometer, we can count the number of RBCs that are around 5 to 5.5 millions. And if we need to measure about the hemoglobin content, what are the content of hemoglobin, then we should use a hemoglobinometer. It is also an instrument, that is a hemoglobinometer. Here we measure the hemoglobin amount. So if we will sum up the whole facts what we have studied We have studied about blood, that is the fluid connective tissue, and its pH is around 7.3 to 7.4, that is slightly alkaline in nature, and blood is mainly composed of plasma and corpuscles. The plasma is of 55% of total blood and the corpuscles are of 45% of the total blood. The plasma consisting of water, the most constituent is water, that is 90 to 92%, and the plasma proteins that are around 8 to 10%. The plasma proteins are albumin, globulins, fibrinogens and prothrombin. So what are the functions? The albumin helps in the osmotic balance of the blood. It maintains osmotic balance. Globulin helps to formation of antibodies or immunoglobulins. That it helps in the gives immunity. And the prothrombin, it forms the fibrinogen, and fibrinogen then converts into fibrin threads and it helps in the clotting of the blood. Other than this water and proteins, there is also presence of minerals and glucose and cholesterol. So glucose is the main blood sugar. The normal range of glucose is 80 to 120 milligram per 100 ml of blood. So if the number increases from 80 to 120 milligram, if the number increases from this, then this condition is known as hyperglycemia. And if this number is decreased from the normal range, this condition is known as hypoglycemia. We will continue the next forms of the blood from the next class onward. Thank you for today's class.